the scalability, like as I was speaking, right, there are multiple things which are there in the in terms of defining a particular distributed system. There are a few things which we consider as a part of what scalability means, and there are two main aspects of it, that how your application can scale up and scale down, right? How easily. And there are two ways people used to do it. Like previously people used to do something called the vertical scaling, which is not anymore. We are not using this concept anymore, and there is a horizontal scaling. So in vertical scaling, what happens, right? So suppose you have you have built an application which you have launched, and there are 100 users currently accessing your system, and you are running perfectly fine with one machine. Now what happened is suddenly, and these are like suppose 4 GB RAM, 1 TB of hard disk, and suppose 2 core processor, right? So you are running this, and it has it has only currently maximum 100 users per minute or 100 users per hour are actually trying to access this particular system, and your system is running absolutely fine. You check your CPU utilization, you check your RAM percentage usage, and absolutely it is fine. Now it has increased from 100 to 10,000. So what has happened is your system started little bit going under the heat, and your CPU percentage has rose to almost 80%, and your RAM also started getting more and more consumed. There is very less RAM available for other computations, and as it goes to suppose 100K, the things started going haywire. Like it started performing very slow. Most of the requests starts getting timing out because threads are busy in attending other requests. So what you started doing that, okay, fine, I'm facing some challenges. What I'll do is I'll just bump up the RAM. So you said, okay, fine, I'll replace this hardware, or basically I'll add 4 more GB to it, or 8 more GB to it, and then 2 TB of hard disk, or change the processor to 4 core or whatever, right, octa core. That's what we used to do in previous in our like earlier days, where we get a basic desktop machine, and if you see there is a slowness, you add one more. There used to be 2 slots, right? You add one more RAM into it, and then you basically proceed with that, right? So that is what we call a vertical scaling. So what you're doing is you're trying to scale vertically. Okay, you're trying to increase the RAM, you're trying to increase the hard disk, you're trying to increase 4 core to 8 core and all that, but that also is not going to help you, right? What will happen is tomorrow, if it becomes 1 million user, you will end up in the same problem, and so it is not really a viable solution in long run, and you can't keep on changing the hard disk, you can't keep on bumping up the RAM, because as you keep on going higher and higher for RAM configurations, the cost associated to it is much higher. Like if you go for a 4 GB RAM, or if you go for 128 GB RAM, the cost will be more. If you take 10 4 GB RAM cost, or you take 2 or 3 128 GB RAM, that will be more costlier, because the higher configuration RAMs or processors or TB hard disk, they cost more and more. So it's better to do a horizontal scaling rather than the vertical scaling. So this is not going to help in long run, because that my user will keep on increasing. And not only that, what if tomorrow for a month or so the traffic was huge, and now because of the maybe December or Black Friday sale, and suddenly after a couple of months your usability or usage has gone down. Now once that is gone down, what you will do? You can't go and remove the RAM from it, because you have already procured it, you have already used it in your system. That will be lying there unused, right? So you are not basically utilizing those RAMs which are you have bumped up, and again maybe in December you will be needing it, right? So it is not going to be a really scalable in nature, and not a viable solution. So what we do is we try to go horizontally. Now what does horizontally means, and which is the current scenario, right? So instead of one single machine or two machines with higher configurations, you keep on adding a new machines, right? So you had one machine for 4 GB RAM, right, and 1 TB of hard disk. You were handling 100 users per second. You were doing quite well. Now it bumped to 10,000. What you do is you add two more machines to it of same configuration. There's no problem of there's no need of using the higher configuration also, until unless you have higher competition in place. Tomorrow, after a month again, it is going to be 1 million. You add couple of more as well, and as soon as the traffic goes less, you just remove these machines and you can utilize it for other purpose. You can re-image it and put it into some other system wherever they need it, or if you're using and that is why the public cloud is famous, that you generally take it for take it on rent basically, right? You request for six servers during 1 to 10th of December, and once your work is done, you tell that, hey, that scale up was done, which is called the scale up from 1 to done. Now you do the scale down, right? So from 10 to 2 you can do it, and you have to pay for just two machines afterwards. And that is why you see the all the mid-level organizations or the starting organizations, they tend to go on the cloud based, like startups and all that, right? So they don't want to establish all their own setup and use it. So the cloud helps them to achieve this scale up and scale down, and also the cost optimization to it. But you can do it in your own data centers as well. There are a lot of in-house solutions are these days. VMware solutions are there where you can do and configure your scale up, scale down, or you can write your own logic. Basically, you can have your own schedulers and everything, and you can just boot up or boot down or shut down your machines accordingly. So this is what the horizontal scaling versus the vertical scaling means, and it is always a good solution that you should always be using the horizontal scaling.